PokeRogue. Instead of the usual Pokemon journey where you travel through various routes and oceans, what if we simplified that to fit the roguelike format? Facing countless battles of wild Pokemon or trainers with a mix of tomfoolery. You can extort a rich kid if your Pokemon is Intimidate. A lady in a car can swap your Pokemon entirely through multiverse shenanigans. And you can even sacrifice your Pokemon to get a legendary Pokemon. Oh, I thought since it was like a legendary, it would survive it. I'm actually... What the hell? Yeah, I'm not very good at this. Well, one thing I would like to mention is that this game is very, very hard. Well, for me at least. Pokemon, it's a very easy game. Like, you know, even babies could beat it. But when you consider IVs, natures, team composition, held items, and hidden abilities, Pokemon is a lot harder than you would think. I'm pretty sure Pokemon is the only RPG game with a competitive esports scene. In today's videos, I'm planning to beat PokeRogue until I beat it. Well, that was the video originally. I wanted to make a gameplay-oriented video. I thought it would be fun, but that's no longer the case. Before recording, I had logged in about like 9 hours into this game, and I was positive that I should be able to beat the game at like 12 hours max, but I was very, very wrong. Time of writing the script, I have been logged in about 24 hours, and I still haven't beaten the game yet. I could have played one shot like 6 different times, but I decided to waste my time playing PokeRogue. Now, I didn't think I was too bad at Pokemon. You know, I'm somewhat of a casual. You know, I watched my Pokemon VCGs, some of that Pokemon Showdown, but my skills were put to the test, and I tackled a task way too big for me to handle. And I don't want to play the same game for so long. Let me tell you how my usual run would go. At the beginning of the game, you start off by choosing all starters from Gen 1 to Gen 9. And every starter, each one of them has a base cost varying based on how good they are. And you can increase the starting roster from catching Pokemon in the wild and gambling. And I was able to get some strong Pokemon, some Paradox or Legendary Pokemon, and some other Pokemon that I think could be helpful in the late game. And I would usually start with a Legendary Pokemon because, of course, I think my most used one was Yveltal because he could learn Oblivion Wing, which is just insanely busted. Sometimes I would pair of Cresselia and Tinkatink because a legendary Pokemon in a Steel and Fairy type Pokemon is certainly busted. But I think the one that I settled on the most was Giratina and Pachirisu. Giratina that I got from gambling had Dragon Dance, which made it an absolute behemoth in the late game. And Pachirisu with the ability Pickup, which would farm a lot of held items like berries, which I would give to Giratina, giving a bit of an overdose. The games are divided into biomes that can have Pokemon with certain types corresponding to its biome, and on each floor you can either encounter a gym battle, a boss Pokemon, an evil team leader, and your rival Ivy or Finn if you played as a girl, and she'll follow you as the game progresses. If anything remains a constant in this journey, it will be Ivy. It's almost as if it's her life goal to beat us. I'm probably thinking too much of it. After playing PokeRogue for so long, I definitely grew a liking to some Pokemon. Like, Gyarados is really good, because the moveset he learns by leveling up is just insanely good, and it's useful for every single encounter. Garganacl. That's a funny name. His signature move is Salt Cure, which is just basically a much more effective Leech Seed. Annihilate is basically just Ultra Ego Vegeta, because with the move Rage Fist, the more damages he receives, the more damage that he can do. Glamour is a really good setup Pokemon that can set up Stealth Rock and Toxic Spike simultaneously. But even what I would think are some strong Pokemon, it seems that I found out my greatest weakness. It's team composition. Sure, I've accessed so many great Pokemon, but the Pokemon I choose aren't really based on what I need, but really based on what I want. I can have Pokemon that I think look good on paper, but then they'll have like a glaring weakness that I just overlook. Like I have one team that'll just be weak against fire, and my whole team just crumbles apart. I just wanted a Groudon. And sometimes my lack of preparation hurts me the most. My Pokemon team is never fully healed whenever a hard battle is approaching. You probably think I'm heading in the right direction since I'm noticing on my flaws and maybe I can improve upon them. But no, not really. Oh my god. No, I'm gonna... Oh shit. It's so long since I've... Shut up. I hate you so much. What? No. Oh, fucking hell, Giratina. Come on, dude. Could be playing other games right now, but I'm making a fucking video on this, dude. I can't beat this game. After losing so many times, it definitely does something to a man. I know the whole appeal of roguelike is that you'll lose and that you can do it all over again, but I'm not built like that. I like Pokemon battles just the way it is, but doing the first 100 floors over and over again is such a drag, especially knowing that I'm capable of beating it, but it takes like an hour of it. So I keep playing and playing and playing, yet the result stays the same. And after so many losses, I needed to stop. My life was just consumed by PokeRogue, and it just wasn't as fun to me anymore. So I stopped playing the game entirely. I haven't touched the game in about a week and leaving it to remain there endlessly on my desktop. And I would spend my break playing Fortnite or some, and just hanging out with friends. And then I remember why I wanted to play PokeRogue on the first place. I thought it would be fun, but instead of playing it for fun, I was just simply playing for content. These videos take somewhat long to make, and in order to make this video possible, I have to beat the game. And in the midst of just simply playing the game, I simply lost sight of that. So I wanted to give this game one more try, but with an entirely new mindset. Alright guys, I'm standing up for this one. So now, once I hopped onto the game, I discovered a mechanic that I have not been utilizing at all. Candies in PokeRogue act differently than they do in the usual Pokemon games. In PokeRogue, they reduce the cost of your starter and give them a passive ability. Giratina's original cost was 8, but with candies I was able to lower it to a 7, which gave me access to many more Pokemon, because the max limit of cost of Pokemon was a 10, and Pachirisu was just like the cheapest one available that provided the most value. But now that I have many more options, I decided to drop Pachirisu and pick up Impidimp, because I thought having a Gigantamax Pokemon would be really helpful. I didn't get the Gigantamax Pokemon. Giratina's passive ability was also really helpful. It was called Shadow Shield, which when Giratina's at max HP, any damages he receives is reduced to half, which basically preventing Giratina from getting one-shotted. So as long as Giratina's at full HP, I basically have a guaranteed advantage. And with this new team of Pokemon, I started this run, and it was progressing as my usual runs would go. I would usually get to at least floor 80 pretty consistently. Then was floor 90, then 100, then 110, 120. And I noticed that I was doing really good. And all the difficult battles regarding the evil team leaders in Ivy was actually a breeze to get through. I had a viable team of Pokemon, and we were over leveled compared to the Pokemon we were encountering. And then I got to floor 140, and I was thinking I could really do this. So I had to keep game and log in. But then I had to stop, so me and my friends could play Fortnite.
This guy's busting us.
After some Fortnite, I decided to hop right back in. But this time, I had to overly prepare. I had Reddit, its Smogon open up on my other monitor, so I know what tough battles are coming up, and to basically make my Pokemon as viable as possible. On floor 145, you encounter Ivy, and usually Ivy would at least say something to say, but she had nothing. And this is one of my better runs, so I was expecting at least something, and oh god, why do you have a shiny Rayquaza? What? I think she's trying to kill me.
Holy crap. Not gonna chill.
Oh, okay, well, that was underwhelming. We take those. Floor 165 is the final battle you have with an evil team leader. He had about 3 boss Pokemons. At first I was worried because, oh man, that means I have to do more damage than I have to do compared to a usual Pokemon. But luckily, Glissobot could barely do any damage to my Giratina. So I was able to set up 3 Dragon Dances, turning this challenging battle into a really easy one. And after Goose's battle, I got the remaining gym badges, and we set sights to the Elite Four. And the first one was Marnie, which scared me at first, because Marnie runs a Dark type team, which Giratina is weak against. And thankfully, despite Giratina being the obvious carry in my Pokemon team, the other Pokemon on the team was strong enough to handle Marnie on their own. Next was Nessa, who was really easy. Next was Bia, which was really easy. And the final Elite Four member, Raihan. At first I was worried because he runs a Dragon type team and he has a Torkoal. Okay. So I safely switched into Giratina, got a couple of Dragon Dances, and then entirely sweep his team like that. And then the champion battle, Leon, who has access to many more abilities like Terrestrialization and Gigantamax in a legendary Pokemon. And despite having access to things that I don't have, there's one thing Leon doesn't have. A Giratina, and right down in there, I was able to be champion Leon. And in the usual Pokemon games, I was expecting Leon to be like one of the last final battles. And there's actually a few more floors which take place in Final Destination. And you would encounter Paradox Pokemon that you can catch, and you encounter your rival, Ivy. And this time, she has something to say. I have this dream, and she has this unbeatable ambition to beat me. And she has no idea why she has this clear goal of beating us, but she believed that it's her life purpose to push us to our limits. And being one of my childhood friends, she can't really remember anything past our battles. She has no idea what is going on, but she encourages us to keep pushing us to the very end. And this will be the test of how strong we've gotten. We basically did the same strat as last time, and it worked despite her having a Delta Rayquaza. And after our battle, she believed that she fulfilled her life's purpose, and she asked for one little favor: to heal this world and come back home. This game has lore. We have reached the final boss at floor 200, and the exact cause of our entire Pokemon journey, Eternatus. Despite it being our first time here, he talks with us with such familiarity because apparently this actually isn't our first time here, but it's actually our 5,643,946 time being here, which might as well be true at this point. Will this be a formidable challenge? A challenge that he's been yearning for a lifetime? Then The battle commenced. We start with Grimmsnarl. Thankfully to his ability Prankster, we were able to set up lights. We switched in for Garganacl to get a quick Salt Cure, and I was planning to chip in some extra damage with Garganacl before he fainted, but then Eternatus actually has a second phase, which loses its Salt Cure, and Eternatus gets this one extra ability, a mini black hole, which takes our Pokemon's held items. And I was worried because Giratina is pretty weak against Eternamax's signature move, Dynamax Cannon, and if Giratina faints right here, right now, then the run is basically over. Eternatus throws out a Dynamax Cannon, which leaves him open because he has to recharge, and I was able to get off one Dragon Dance with Giratina. But then I remembered Giratina's signature move, Shadow Force, and it's its strongest move in his arsenal, but it also had this unique property. It turns Giratina invisible, making him immune to any damages. And now we got the main issue out of the way on how to deal with Dynamax Cannon, and we also got this nice bonus, which was that big Giratina basically gets a free heal every time he uses Shadow Force, because Giratina is holding onto a leftover and a Shell Bell. And while Giratina was slowly but surely damaging Eternatus' health bar, and my other Pokemon chipping in for some extra damage, and it was enough. Eternatus was at its last HP bar, and I just needed one more attack. And just like that, after so many failed attempts, I finally was able to beat PokeRogue.
I beat the game. I actually did it. You're back. Does that mean you won? I should have known you had it in you. Of course, I always had that feeling. It's over now, right? You ended the loop? You fulfilled your dream too, didn't you? You didn't lose even once. It'll be the only one to remember what you did. I'll try not to forget. Just kidding. I never forget. Your legend will live on our hearts. Anyway, it's getting late. I think it's hard to tell in this place. Let's go home. Maybe tomorrow we can have another battle? For old time's sake? Oh, wait, oh, that's so cute. Wait, that's so cute. And in typical roguelike fashion, you can just start fresh and play it again. No, I'm not playing this game again. I am not. I don't want. Hey guys, Editor Ali here. I just want to say thank you for watching through the entire video. And if you want to see more videos like this, you should totally hit like and subscribe. Even as something as like leaving a comment or liking the video, it really does mean a lot. So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna work on my next video. Bye.